Welcome back from that very long break. It's still Daybreak on Trust Television. We now go quickly into the discussion segment of the program. Of course, we are snowballing from the conversation from the Daybreak Interactive segment, talking about the reshuffling of the Federal Executive Council by the President. It says President Bola Tinubu will soon reshuffle his 47-man cabinet, but no specific timeline has been set. And the presidential aides revealed that some ministers are frantically trying to get in the good books of the president, even though he has not been satisfied with some of their performances. However, not much is known about the speculated reshuffle, with little knowledge of who leaves or who stays in office. Joining us now to provide some analysis and, of course, provide perspectives on this development, we have joining us via video chat Mr. Jide Ojo, a public affairs commentator. Welcome to the program, Mr. Jide. Yes, so Mr. Jide, I'm really curious as to what first came to your mind the first time that you heard this news that the president is intending to go on to reshuffle his cabinet?
Long expected, given the fact that Nigerians are dissatisfied with the performance of the very large, unwieldy cabinet. I am one of those who were against having a large cabinet in a comatose economy. The president is being hypocritical when he said he wants to implement Oronsaye report on, to trim down the ministries, departments, and agencies. You cannot in one breath want to implement Oronsaye report and, deliberately creating additional bureaucracy in the name of ministries, departments, and agencies. The latest one being the Ministry of Livestock Development, which is the latest addition. Maybe when he reshuffles, he will mention the new ministers to be in charge of that livestock development. We've had the creation of Ministry of State Development, we have Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Culture, Arts and Entertainment, Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, and all of this you ask to say, what is the value addition? The one that shocks me most is when he established Ministry of Police Affairs. We have a constitutional body called Police Service Commission that is supposed to be well funded, which is supposed to take care of the recruitment, promotion, discipline of the Nigerian police. But rather, this president decided to go and establish Ministry of Police Affairs. So the point is, I don't expect this. I think the president just wanted to give all of them equal opportunity to have been at the saddle for minimum of 1 year. Recall that they were all appointed in August 2023. So this is September. My gut feeling is that over this weekend, between today and Monday, this cabinet reshuffle may come. Because if it doesn't come within this period, don't forget there are going to be, budget is being put together, budget 2025 is being put together, and this might have cost implication. For instance, if it decides to do away with some of the ministries, those ministries should not feature in the 2025 budget. So we wait to see. It's very common. Unlike under Buhari only in 8 years, I recall he only sacked 2 ministers, Minister of Power, Mahmoud Saleh, or is it Mohammed Saleh, from Taraba, and then the Minister of Agriculture. Those that I recall that in 8 years of Buhari administration is sacked. But there are media speculations that Tinubu may ask almost 11 ministers to go. And there is also the mention of Gbajabi Amila, according to the Guardian newspaper yesterday, that Gbajabi Amila may also be replaced, and maybe Fashola being brought in, or the deputy custom.
Mr. Jide, what's your take on this speculation that the current president is trying as much as possible to learn from the mistakes of former President Muhammadu Buhari in terms of leaving, individuals with a lot of political exposure to fester as ministers of the Federal Republic, of course, in sacrifice of responsibilities and roles to the Nigerian people.
Well, one thing I know for certain about President Tinubu is that he's a smart politician. I think he just used the first 1 year to settle political IOUs. If you get my drift, he just used that to placate people who supported him to win election. Take for instance, who is the substantive minister of defense? The man has been missing in action. The person we see is Matawale,
the Minister of State.
The other guy who is the main minister, as
former governor of Jigawa State,
has been off the radar. So I think he just wanted to. But one thing, my brother, we need to factor in is that I hope the president will be fair to those whom he wants to lay off. Fairness in this context is you give them KPIs, you give them key performance indicators.
Indeed.
Did you back up these key performance indicators with the needed resources? And here I'm talking of financial, material, human resources. Because, for instance, I've made this made this known on several media platforms. For some ministers, they were late starters, particularly those who were not in existence under Buhari. So when you set up Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy in August 2023, there were no budget lines for Marine and Blue Economy. It was not there before. Ministry of Steel Development was not there before. What we had was Ministry of Solid Mineral, Ministry of Arts, Entertainment and Creative
Arts and Creative Economy
was not there before. Ministry of Tourism was not there before.
Ministry of Livestock.
Which other one? About 5 or 6 of them were not. So if you now want to measure them against ministries that already have budgets, and there is also the challenge under Buhari. You have the Ministry of Finance and National Planning. Under Tinubu, you have that bifurcated. So you have Ministry of Finance separate, Ministry of Budget and National Planning separate. And the issue is that, if you are familiar with bureaucracy, my brother, you find out that for you to move money that was not appropriated, you need to seek parliament. So when you created these new ministries, do you give them the wherewithal to perform for the first 4 or 5 months of their appointment? The answer may be no, because I know that when these new ministries were formed or were announced, there were no office spaces for them, there were no staff for them, there were no budget for them. So they have to make do with makeshift arrangements till the 2024 budget was signed into law. And it was maybe February, March that they started getting funding for some of their programmatic and policy activities. So I think that would be factored into consideration, because yes, we may say they didn't perform. Do they actually have the wherewithal to perform? Because it's like what we have always done with service chiefs. We say, oh, change these service chiefs, they are not performing. Bring new set of service chiefs. These ones are dollars. You change the service chiefs and then the insecurity persists, because you are just like changing the old wine. You are putting old wine in new bottle. So I think the president, in good conscience, must have an introspection. What are the key performance indicators that were set for every of his ministers? Did he fund their activities as required. If there was no proper funding, even if you bring people from Western world to come and run ministries, departments, and agencies, they might not be able to perform. Because you can't make an omelette without breaking an egg. You can't make a brick without straw. So I think that would be my own argument. So we have not been able to see the key performance indicators that were set for these people, and what Atiza Bala Osman, who is in charge of this
Central Delivery Coordinating Unit,
what she was able to report to the president, whether those people were given fair chance to even defend themselves, because it will be unfair to them when we don't know, particularly when you know the practice and the bureaucracy. You can have 50, 100 billion in the budget.
Indeed.
The cash backing for your activities may be a fraction of that. You may not even get up to 20-30% of money appropriated for your ministry in the budget. So, because there isn't enough resources, generally speaking, and we know that this administration have been borrowing to run the economy. So, I think these are things that needs to be factored into consideration in juggling the ministries or ministers and in dropping some of them.
All right, Mr. Jide Ojo, thank you so much for your contributions and, of course, analysis on this development on whether the president should reshuffle his cabinet and, of course, the expectation to come in the next few days.
My pleasure. Do I enjoy your weekend?
Indeed, and you as well. Now, that's it for the discussion segment. We now go on another break, and this time when we return, it will be time to look at the front pages of select national dailies. Join us again.